Welcome to Unjaded, or welcome back if this is your first time here. I'm your host, Vickie Dickson. I am a holistic marketing strategist and copywriter. I focus mostly on helping you to attune with the energy in your human design so that you can build the business that you love without breaking your life. Welcome to Unjaded. This is your straight talk, shoot from the hip, wrapped in a little bit of love, Human Design for Business podcast. We talk a lot here about clarifying your message so that you can bring in paying clients with ease. And ease is different from easy. Stick around to find out how we roll here. I'm your host, Vickie Dickson. I am a 2-4 emotional manifesting generator, light on the emotional, and I'm a quad right in human design. In real speak, I am an entrepreneur of 30 plus years. I've had every kind of business there is, and I always say that business is my love language. I can't wait to dive in with you here on the podcast. So let's dive in today. We are going to be talking about what to focus on in 2025 as you are creating content to get out into the ethers. And I'm going to walk you through 4 things that I would love for you to focus on and think about as you're putting content out there. So the number one thing that you have to get really dialed in on, no matter what your human design type, no matter what type of business you have, is understanding the problem that you solve. And this is something that I find people miss. So many entrepreneurs miss this. They are focused on whether their ideal client is between 40 and 60 and drives a Subaru and has 2.5 kids and all of those things that really don't matter a whole lot. They're focused on identifying the ideal client instead of thinking about, actually, what do I do for that ideal client? What is the result of working with me? Why is he or she coming to me for me to solve a problem? Because they are coming to you for you to solve a problem, right? They're not just scrolling online thinking, oh, I wonder how I could spend a couple grand today on a coaching program. No, they're looking for a specific solution to a specific problem. Maybe not a specific solution, but they have a specific problem that they are looking to solve. And so when you get crystal clear on that, you call them to you. Number 2 thing kind of ties in with that. Be where people are looking for solutions. So where are people going to look for solutions? I would say this is, in my world, I call them the long form game, but I would say places like YouTube, podcasts, blogs, even Pinterest. Really and truly, that's not going to be social media. We focus so much sometimes as entrepreneurs on getting it right on social media. The perfect reel, the perfect hook, the perfect caption. How am I going to get new people into my world? That Instagram or Facebook post is going to last like 6 minutes. Whereas you could do something longer form, something that lasts a little bit longer, that has some SEO behind it on YouTube, on a blog, on a podcast episode, and people are going to be searching that for years to come. It's going to last forever and ever and ever there. Some of my most popular pins on Pinterest are over 10 years old. I'm no longer even in that business, but they're still coming up. I keep trying to delete all of them, but some of them still keep coming up. So start to think about, where am I going to be able to put my time when I'm creating content that's going to actually pay me back over time instead of being on this constant creation wheel, which I kind of answered the third thing, or I kind of already talked about the third thing that I was going to mention here. And that was, stop making social media the end all to be all, because it just isn't. I was going to say anymore, but I don't know that it ever was. People go to social media to be entertained. They go to social media to numb out. They may not even really be seeing what you're putting in front of them. Do I think that you need to drop social media? Absolutely not. It's a great way to build brand awareness, really. It's a great way to build community, to get people familiar with you, to see the face behind the brand, to see a little bit of your life, whatever you want to show. To build that know, like, trust factor, for sure. But it may not be the place that you get hired from. Yes, we hear from social media influencers all day long who want to tell us that we're all going to make $150,000 just by posting the right reels or the right hooks to Instagram. But I don't think that really plays out for most of us as coaches and entrepreneurs. Could happen, but I'm not going to hang my hat on it. I'm going to use my social media to build my brand, and I'm going to focus more intentionally on creating the kind of content that people are looking for, the kind of content that solves problems, and listing it in those places where they're searching. Now, before I get into point number 4, I would just like to give you a little bit of a note about podcasting. You may not ever want to have your own podcast, and that's okay. But guesting on podcasts could become a very valuable part of your strategy. So when you look for, I'm going to steal this term, I don't remember who I got this from, but she calls them niche neighbors rather than competitors. So when you look at your niche neighbors, is there someone in your sphere that you could contribute to their audience without competing with them? Because there are all kinds of relationships that could be formed and could help you to get your message out there, even if you don't have your own podcast. So guesting on podcasts can be a strategy as well. Just don't think about, this is something that I see, I know I'm being bossy here, but this is something that I see so many people doing, is that they think, I have to be on Joe Rogan in order for it to count. I have to be on Tim Ferriss in order for it to count. Like, they're looking for the really, really big names. And if you're a smaller entrepreneur with a smaller audience, like most of us are, then you can get a lot of traction by being on another small podcast of a niche neighbor. So start to think about that as part of your 2025 strategy as well. And point number 4, I'm going to challenge you on, and I know that maybe you'll love me and maybe you'll hate me for this, is ditch the AI. Ditch the AI. So do you know what the number 1 industry is for copywriters right now? If you guessed AI, you would be right. Isn't that interesting? That the number 1 place that is hiring copywriters is AI businesses. There are more opportunities within the AI space right now for copywriters than ever before. And I am seeing a real backlash on AI created content. I don't know about you, but I can spot an AI generated post a mile away. Do you find that when you're scrolling along that you see something and you're like, I do. I mean, I see whole websites that are written by AI, and it is so apparent that it's AI. Now, I'm not saying never use AI in your business. It's a great time saver, but use it to get you started. And there's an episode on the Unjaded podcast that talks you through how to use AI without it stealing your voice. I should have had that number here for you. I'll pop it into the show notes on the podcast, the comments below here on YouTube, so that you can listen in and really build a strategy for how to use AI to save you some time, but not to let it speak for you. There is a big push towards authenticity. We are coming into some big, exciting times as a collective, and that is going to require authenticity more than anything else. You're going to need to show more of yourself, not less, as we move through the coming years. So think about that as you are leaning maybe a little too heavily onto AI. So those are the 4 things that I would identify as places to really focus on to get your content out there in 2025. And I'm going to highlight them one more time. Number 1, know the problem that you solve. Know the problem that you solve. That's the hill I will die on. The last 3-part masterclass series that I offered, I actually had to change the whole premise of the second day. The whole training that I had planned had to be flipped on its head because I realized that most of the people in the room didn't have a clue the problem that they solve. So we couldn't go any further with how to create their message or how to create their content because they didn't know what problem they solved. So that has to be number 1, know the problem that you solve. Number 2 is that think about or start to practice putting some content out there where people are searching for solutions. Think about YouTube, blogs, your website, podcasts, Pinterest, those kinds of places where people are actually searching solutions. They're actually typing into a search bar for a solution to their problem. And then number 3, stop focusing so much on social media. Use it to build brand awareness, use it to show your personality, but let's not stress over it. Let's not make it the end all to be all. And then number 4, really consider how you're using AI. Use it intentionally if you're going to use it at all in your business. That's it. Hopefully you found that helpful. Hopefully you got something there that you can take and use in your business right away.